Scrappy friends! I have a fun mixed media layout for you today. I know it's been a while. I have been so busy and I've actually fell asleep early a couple of nights last week. So I am going to try something new today on this layout. And I will warn you, my head gets in the way, but I really feel like this was the best way to show you what I was doing. So I'm putting splats on, and I am using a straw, and I am just blowing really hard with the straw, depending on what I use as the ink. And there's a couple of them that I use the re-inkers, like this one and that green one are the re-inkers. And I had to blow really, really hard to get it to splat out because it's a lot thicker. But I love the way that just with the pressure of the air being blown through the straw, how it looks. And these splatters, they look a lot like fireworks. I wish I had a fireworks. Now this one was just a regular homemade ink spray that I made, and as you can see it's really watery, and because it was a light pink you can barely see it. So this is what I did in between each one. I just didn't show that, but this process was really slow or really fast. So I just showed, I'm going to add a little Lindy Stamp Gang, and I did use clear gesso over top of that. So I think that makes these spread out a little differently, easier in some ways because that's what gesso does, but also harder to control because with the grit, it's just going to go. And I still didn't like how light it was, so I mixed a little bit of water with some paint, acrylic paint, and then I did those in a little bit of a different area. But I really liked how that turned out, even though this is the first time I've ever tried it. I've seen a couple people do it, and maybe I'll do it again and show a sideways shot if I can get a good angle on it. Now, I had to finish this on another night because I used the re-inkers and those are all stickier. I didn't add any water to it, and because they were so thick they didn't dry very well, and they started to like come up on my fingers, other stuff. So I just made sure that I put a good coat of Ranger, the matte medium, and I think that with that really helped seal it all in. I will say, even then, the re-inker kind of came up. I had to do it really, really fast. Maybe if I'd used a spatula, it wouldn't have kind of leaked through. And you might see it a little bit on the close-ups that it looks a little bit green from that bright green. I love that color. It's amazing. But I had this photo of my daughter, Leilani, from Easter that I haven't scrapped, and I love the way that the colors of her dress match, similar to those splatters. And that is really why I picked that. Earlier, you see me look between another photo, and I wasn't sure, and I was actually going to use this background, but because it was so sticky, I decided not to. And now I'm just building my layers, and like I usually do, I cut them a little bit larger than the next layer. I find that this is the best way for me to do it. Obviously, each time I do a layered layout, I will tend to do it a little different, but this is just the way I've been doing it lately. And I am using some papers from the Click Kit, which has papers from Chickenity 365 and also 7 paper from Studio Calco. And then I mixed in some Webster's pages, and I have that pink cardstock that I use. I have a little bit of Poolside mixed in. I think that's all the pattern paper that I use. I really liked using that black. It kind of helps ground some of those layers, and because around my daughter is dark up at the top from the shadow of the trees outside, it really helps bring in all those colors. And I tried to keep some of my layers really neutral. Like I have that black and white text from, I think that was a Studio Calico paper, yeah. And I have that blue paper which matched some of the blue on my daughter's dress. But I really tried to keep it not too bright because I was afraid with all the background and with my daughter's dress it was just going to be too much. But I did want some of the layers to have a few colors in them. I didn't want it to be too, I don't know. I wasn't looking for really neutral layers, though that would have been nice and that would have been really cool. So maybe the next time I do a really fun background like this, I will do all neutral layers, like vellum and like just some different color neutrals. That would be kind of fun too. I did just use my ATG to stick down those pictures, and hopefully with all the media it won't come up eventually. But at least if it does, it should just be that first layer, so all the layers together will be stuck to. I really love that little like 2x2 card that says sweet stuff. And I kept putting stuff over top of it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to cover the ice cream cone or not, because the ice cream cone really has nothing to do with Easter, but sweet stuff does. So you'll see in a little while what I kind of do to layer over top of that so that you can still kind of see it, but that the ice cream cone doesn't become the main attraction to that little layer. And I'm thinking I want to use some tags. I know I had to stop filming for a little while, so at first I was thinking I was going to do 2 tags down at the bottom. So I did pick out those 2 tags. I love the way that gray black color looks with the pink. It helps bring out all that the neutral colors. And I thought about flipping it on the other side. And it would have worked there. I just really liked the idea of having it down below the photo and having most of my stuff be on that side. And I'm looking to see if I see any other pieces of ephemera that I think might work, but a lot of them just have too much color and are too busy, and I don't know. I had a hard time finding stuff that was really neutral because I do like color so much. And some of it was just not relevant. So I'm back to my tag again, and here I'm gonna mark where I want it because I'm just gonna cut it pretty much. And then I realized that maybe I should put that other tag up at the top instead of layering it. So I will eventually get to building that cluster, but I'm going to build the bottom cluster first. And I get that. And I also found a couple of clear acetate, or not, well, they're not really clear, they're colored acetate pieces from Pink Fresh Studio, because I get their embellishment kit each month, which I don't tend to show, but they always have some cute embellishments that are colorful and just a little bit different, which is why I continue to get it, though some months I wonder how much of it I'll use right away. It always takes me a little while to figure out what I'm going to do. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to put, if I want to put something over top, and I feel like everything is still covering up that ice cream cone too much. And then I remembered that I had those gold letters from the poolside collection that said fun, and I was like, that's perfect, because you can still see the ice cream cone, but it's not like, poof, there's an ice cream cone that really doesn't mean anything. I usually don't care if a ephemera piece doesn't match, but for whatever reason, this day, it mattered to me that it didn't work. But I love those gold letters. And the gold really looks awesome with all the color. And I have these little banner flags from Pretty Little Studios that say fun things. And there's some yellow in my daughter's dress. So I did want to bring some of that yellow because I don't have much yellow really anywhere else on my layout. There's on the poolside collection, there is a couple of yellow specks in that back layer, but it's really hard to see. So I did want to bring some of that yellow throughout. And I thought about flipping it over to the side, which it would have worked there too, but I really liked it up at the top. And I'm going to build this upside down just because it's kind of easier for me to do it that way. I just had to remember that everything was upside down. It made me think of Shamel when she did a lot of her Glitter Girl episodes. She would almost always do them upside down, and it just makes you think of how amazing she is, the fact that she can do everything upside down and in real time. I don't think I could do layouts in real time. It would be fun to try, but I'm pretty slow. I like the fact that I can take as much time as I want. Even though I'm taping, I still try not to think about the fact that there's a camera there. And so I thought, hey, I have all these rub-ons from Pinkfresh Studio, and I was using some of their stuff. Why don't I use some rub-ons? And in hindsight, it seemed like a good idea. I kind of wish I didn't do it because I don't know. I'm not thrilled with that part. I wish I didn't do it, but it's okay. And then there's that hot pink heart, which I love, which I ended up sticking an enamel triangle like over top of it a little bit. So I wish I didn't do that too. And in a minute, my layout is actually going to cut out because I ran out of battery. But I think that was pretty much it. I just added some enamel triangles from the Chickanitty line, and then that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun technique. If you guys want me to show this again, but show it at a different angle, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely do that. Have a great day, and I hope to see you later. Bye!